Over the next 2 months, after the death of Frank Fontaine, Ryan's security forces rounded up his supporters and locked them away in Fontaine's department store. Around this time, a new figure named Atlas began visiting the poorhouses and rousing citizens to action. His growing supporters began stockpiling weapons, plasmids, and gene tonics for the eventual overthrow of Andrew Ryan. Aware of this, Ryan too began building up an army to match that of Atlas by using Adam to enhance his troops. Rapture was gearing for war, and both sides were doing all they could to push the city over that precipice.
I begged Mr. Ryan to hand Fontaine's heuristics over to Atlas's boys as a peace offering, but the stupid sod won't listen to reason. Instead, he's just splicing his mob up, giving them more and tougher plasmids. There's an arms race on here in Rapture, but it's not about who can build the best guns and the biggest bombs. It's about who can become less of a man and more of a monster.
By this point, Ryan refused to listen to reason, preferring instead to initiate any measure required to save his fledgling city, no matter how morally or ethically unconscionable they may seem.
Augustus Sinclair is what happens when spineless moral relativism is spun into a business ethic. Man has a dirty finger in each and every pie. But I admit his little firm has its uses. I'm having him use the Sinclair Solutions brand to conduct clinical trials in the field. If there are any incidents with side effects of newer or less stable plasmids, no one will associate Ryan Industries with the death.
Yet Atlas was but a sampling of Ryan's mounting troubles. Rioting continued throughout Rapture as a result of Ryan's takeover of Fontaine Futuristics. Something needed to be done to tame the rioters, and Yi Suchong had an idea.
Dr. Suchong, frankly, I'm shocked by your proposal. If we were to modify the structure of our commercial plasmid line as you propose, to have them make the user vulnerable to mental suggestion through pheromones, would we not be able to effectively control the actions of the citizens of Rapture? Free will is the cornerstone of this city. The thought of sacrificing it is abhorrent. However, we are indeed in a time of war. If Atlas and his bandits have their way, will they not turn us into slaves? And what will become of free will then? Desperate times call for desperate measures.
He commissioned Suchong to begin the development of that pheromone, in tandem with Suchong's continued focus on plasmid development. However, that had hit a snag when the Little Sisters failed to produce enough Adam to satiate the Splicer's growing demand for the substance. But the bloodshed Rapture recently experienced gave Suchong an idea. Neptune's bounty was littered with corpses, bodies filled with Adam. What if he could mentally condition the Little Sisters to harvest or gather the Adam from those corpses? He set to work with great success. But when the Splicers caught on, they began attacking the girls, forcing Suchong to devise a means of protecting the Little Sisters.
War a terrible thing. Japanese kill every man in my city, except for Suchong. Suchong have opium. Very good opium. This war, terrible thing too, but not for Suchong. Everyone's scared now. Everyone need Adam. More than Little Sisters can make. Good news is war makes lots of corpses. Suchong knows a way to recycle Adam from corpses, but can't send a Little Sister out to street unprotected. Suchong must think on this.
Dr. Suchong resolved to take the big daddies, maintenance workers tasked with construction jobs and non-profitable menial work, and turn them into protectors. He initiated the Protector Program to bond big daddies to Little Sisters, to ensure that they would respond aggressively to any threat encountered by the Little Sisters. Fortunately, finding candidates to transform into Big Daddies, an irreversible process, was no obstacle. Augustus Sinclair was more than willing to rent out inmates from Persephone. Acquiring little sisters, however, involved more dubious methods that created a noticeable disappearance of young girls throughout Rapture. Initial bonding tests were a failure. The Big Daddies ignored the little sisters, but like most discoveries, he'd stumble upon his desired result by accident, and that proved fatal.
Clinical trial protector system, plasmid lot 255. Dr. Suchong, client Ryan Industries. Very frustrating day. I can't seem to get the damn Big Daddies to imprint on the little brats. The protection bond is just not forming.
Papa Suchong?
Get away. Maybe if I modify the genetic sequence... Shush! Sequence to allow for... Get away, you filthy little shit! What? What are you doing? Get back! Get back!
With Suchong dead, his work passed on to Dr. Gilbert Alexander, a promising scientist who specialized in mechanical and robotic engineering and designed Rapture's automated security systems. He used Suchong's work as a springboard for his experiments.
Dr. Suchong's death was a nasty blow to the Protector program, but I'm gradually settling into his role, picking up the slack that his carelessness left behind. We are gaining steam again, but I'm not satisfied. Yes, the Big Daddy defends the girl, but he is programmed only for the fight, like a sheepdog who wanders off unless a wolf is tearing at his flock. When no aggressor is present, he regards his little sister as he might a common houseplant. We need something more, something stronger, an unbreakable physiological bond.
Using Suchong's idea of adapting pheromones to induce mental suggestion, Dr. Alexander made his first major breakthrough in the bonding process. He'd call the first set of bonded protectors the Alpha Series.
The pair bond is a success. If somehow an Alpha Series wanders too far from his little sister, our physical failsafe kicks in, a chemical trigger that induces coma. It is a symbiotic relationship enforced by the girl's pheromone signature. The first successful candidate was Delta, I believe. It is unfortunate that poor Dr. Suchong will not be here to raise a glass.
Though Subject Delta's identity was kept a secret, even from Dr. Alexander, events would unfold revealing Delta to be Johnny Topside, the deep-sea diver who accidentally stumbled upon the city under the sea. Andrew Ryan had believed him to be a foreign agent and had him incarcerated in Persephone. As a prisoner, Sinclair contracted him out to the Protector program. Now known as Delta, he demonstrated great promise.
Delta was in top form today. The guards tried to make him take another dose of whatever the hell it is they're pumping into him, and he managed to take on all 4 of them at once. Snapping legs and arms, blood everywhere. They say one of the guys might not even wake up. I wish I could be that free.
As for the first little sister to be bonded successfully, the identity of the girl would come as a shock to Dr. Alexander in due time.
Our hope was to bond a little sister to a single protector, so she had to be expendable in case of error. As we were fabricating a father bond, we couldn't really afford to have the girl's parents asking around. So, Fontaine's orphanages provided, and the procedure was an unprecedented success. If I had only known who the child was, Eleanor. I'm so sorry.
Eleanor Lamb. After her mother's arrest, she stayed with Grace Holloway, who still attended Rapture family meetings in Dionysus Park, now under the control of Stanley Poole.
Christ. Rapture. City's a house of cards and a kiddie pool. Lamb's out of the picture now, and Ryan wants me to finish off the family. Shouldn't be hard. The shrink was the linchpin. Now they're just lost. But Ryan isn't exactly the Rock of Gibraltar these days. This Atlas character's got him way back on his heels. What is gonna be left of this town when the fur stops flying?
Under his reign, he siphoned money away from the family and used it to host lavish parties in his own private residency. But every time Holloway brought Eleanor to the park, Poole couldn't help but notice Eleanor staring at him. Was she aware of what he had done? The very thought tortured him for 3 years until he decided to get rid of the girl once and for all. So one day, when Eleanor was visiting the park, he kidnapped her and sold her to a little sister's orphanage. Grace Holloway searched everywhere for her, but couldn't find hide nor hair of Eleanor. She simply disappeared.
Empty house, only an echo to my name. Eleanor, baby, where are you? I turned my back and someone took you. It happened so quick. I'm not even a half mama to you, girl. I couldn't protect you. This poster of Dr. Lamb in my room is staring me down like it knows I'm ashamed. I've always been loyal to your real mother, Eleanor. Always trusted her with my secrets. But I lost you. What will the doctor think of me now?
While Eleanor was handed over to Dr. Alexander to be turned into a little sister, her mother kept busy in confinement. Augustus Sinclair hired her as a therapist for her fellow inmates, hoping to make them more docile. She used the position to endear herself to the inmates, just like she had in Popper's Drop. Concerned by this turn of events, Sinclair contacted Ryan for help, but his response was dismissive.
Need I remind you, Sinclair, that Lamb is your problem now? She's no longer a citizen of Rapture. That was the proviso. You wanted her expertise, and now you have it. Ryan Industries is your client, and we require test candidates from among your charges. The protectors are short-lived. Lamb would be a messiah, correct? Well, sell her a sacrifice to save the flock.
Sinclair took the suggestion and ran with it. During her time in Persephone, Sinclair forced Lamb to sacrifice members of her family to the Protector program in exchange for her own safety. Lamb begrudgingly obliged.
Things aren't so rosy for Lamb's little collective farm down here, no matter how much influence she's got with the inmates. She keeps feeding Ryan more and more of her people for the Big Daddy program in order to keep the rest of her flock alive. I think she's getting desperate. I ought to have Weir double the orderlies on all the major junctions.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, Atlas had been captured and imprisoned in the department store. Then the store was detached from the city and sunk. Ryan hoped this would mark the beginning of the end of the rioting as a new year dawned. But Atlas was busy at work.
Tell Ryan things are getting hot down here real fast. The goddamn leprechaun is building himself a regular army. If you'd asked my opinion, which you didn't, I'd send a crew down here and clean up the place before they show up on your doorstep. But who am I except some undercover schmuck you sent to give you straight dope?
Atlas spent his days overseeing the distribution of food and the establishment of some sort of civil order amongst the splicers. Over time, this earned their trust.
I never thought anyone would be able to bring all these degenerate splice heads into line. I gotta hand it to Atlas. After Ryan locked us up in this pit, I thought that was it. Just a long, final dive into the abyss. But he's given us hope. Or what passes for it down in Rapture. When a person's got nothing, hope's about the kindest thing you can give her. Or the cruelest.
With his army formed, Atlas's next move was to escape his watery prison. The same went for Sophia Lamb in Persephone. By the end of 1958, she set her plan in motion, causing a prison riot, overpowering the guards and wresting control of the detention facility away from Sinclair.
Looks like Sinclair's been ousted. He wasn't slick enough to avoid the boot this time, but at least it wasn't a firing squad. Lamb proved she's got the ear of the general population down here, so it'd probably be prudent to play along for a while, see where this goes. She says she'll let me keep my little fiefdom here in holding,
Docs I agree to help supply her therapy sessions. No qualms there. These sorry buggers could use some rehabilitation.
On New Year's Eve, she returned to Rapture to find her daughter. That's when she learned Eleanor had been turned into a little sister. And that day, she met her Big Daddy.
Look, Daddy, it's you. Let's go out to play, Daddy. More angels, Daddy. This way.
Come with us, little girl.
You want some, big guy? Bigger they are, harder they are! Get out of here, freak!
There we are. He's perfectly safe now. This is not your daughter. Do you understand? Her name is Eleanor, and she is mine. Now, kneel, please. Remove your helmet. Now, take the pistol. Place it against your head. Fire.
For Ryan, the coming new year presented itself with new problems. His girlfriend, Diane McClintock, pushed a proposal Ryan was not ready for.
Diane insisted that we spend a weekend at the Adonis, and already I find myself seeking a respite from my vacation. She deems it necessary to chide me for working. The words dissolve into an endless animal bleat. I founded Rapture to be free of law and God, to live among those for whom work is our wage. Yet, when Diane speaks of burying my child, I am given pause. Until now, I had never considered my legacy. Perhaps after the new year.
Since then, Ryan began to distance himself from McClintock. Whether consciously or not is unknown. And on a night when one should be celebrating with friends and family and loved ones, Ryan found another excuse to be away from her.
Diane, my dear, I'm sorry, but I'll be late again tonight. Rosenberg is demanding to speak about this Fontaine business. I'm trying to build a proper financial market, and this idiot keeps going on about atom this, genetic modification, that. I'll go spend an hour pretending to pay attention to the poor fellow and be home as soon as I can. Andre.
Good evening, my friends. I hope you are enjoying your New Year's Eve celebration.
It has been a year of trials for us all. Tonight, I wish to remind each of you that Rapture is your city. It was your strength of will that brought you here, and with that strength, you shall rebuild. And so, Andrew Ryan offers you a toast. To Rapture, 1959. May it be our finest year.
As Andrew Ryan televised his New Year's speech, Diane McClintock went to the New Year's celebration at the Kashmir restaurant by herself, unaware, just like all the rest, that Atlas had broken free.
So Atlas asked me to figure out where to strike first when we bust out of this place, but, it all depends on when we get out, November 5th, it's a big founding of Rapture shindig at Fort Frolic. Valentine's Day, Arcadia's real popular. It's near New Year's Eve, then, hey, we could pop the corks off all the stuffed shirts down at the Kashmir restaurant.
Another New Year's, another night alone. I'm out, and you're stuck in Hephaestus, working. Imagine my surprise. I guess I'll have another drink. Here's a toast to Diane McClintock, silliest girl in Rapture. Silly enough to fall in love with Andrew Ryan. Silly enough. What happened? I'm bleeding. Oh God. What's happening?
Strikes me that Fontaine wasn't overly inconvenienced by his own demise. On New Year's Eve, these wretched splicers come streaming out of the poorhouses and stormed the proverbial barricades. The dead rot in the streets, and Johnny and Jamie Citizen are lined up round the block for plasmids. Anything to help fend off the rabble.
The city was now at war, and both Frank Fontaine, disguised as Atlas, and Sophia Lamb were back. Yet Ryan only had enough resources to focus on one of them. He had a choice to make.
I'm told that Lamb has been seen in the streets. One of the Alpha series was killed in the incident, and his bonded sister is stolen. But the Council has no time for a manhunt. Atlas swells the ranks of his marauders by the day. Regardless, Lamb's name is already faded among the people. She is no more than a ghost who has forgotten to die.
Fortunately, Lamb and her followers took refuge in Persephone, waiting for both Andrew Ryan and Atlas to wipe each other out, as Rapture plunged into civil war.